Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord thunders over the mighty waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is majestic. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks in pieces the cedars of Lebanon. He makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of the Lord strikes with flashes of lightning. The voice of the Lord shakes the desert. The Lord shakes the desert of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord twists the oaks and strips the forest bare, and in his temple all cry, glory. The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord is enthroned as king forever. The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. So, I don't know how many of you are TV watchers, but next Tuesday is a really big day for Margie and I. Does anyone know what that might be? American Idol, Margie knows. So, yeah, next Tuesday, season 8, I think, of American Idol starts, and Margie and I are very excited. We usually get excited about June, when the previous season ends. So for the past 4 years that I've lived with Josh and Margie, we would always be caught watching TV Tuesday and Wednesday evenings, sometimes not Wednesday, but definitely Tuesday, watching America's talented and talentless, striving, singing their way to stardom. No matter how cold the basement room was, no matter how busy we were with real life, I'd bring my papers to grade, she would have Lucy there. We always tried to make time to follow these stories of fame and stardom. We love seeing the small-town country girl sing her way to the top. We love seeing the all-American guy with the nice eyes croon his way to American Idol, and Margie particularly like that. We voted, we texted 1-866-IDOLS-07 and argued about our favorites. We booed and jeered those that we thought were just terrible. Why? Because we wanted to see the person that we thought was the best win. Why are we so into it? Why did we invest so much time to watching American Idol and things like American Idol? They're just displays of talent and skill. I think it's because there's something built inside of us, some mechanism in our brain that makes us lock onto people who are talented or things that are special. And it convinces us that those things or that person deserves some limelight. We think they have a talent, they have a skill, they have some kind of strength, and they deserve to be known. They deserve a break. They deserve our attention. So in the passage I just read, David describes why God deserves to be known and revered. So in a time and in a land with so many other gods competing for this spot of top dog, top God, David wanted to be sure that his God came out on top. So he wrote, 100 or so songs about it. When I read the Psalms, I usually find that they fall into 3 categories. A, God, it's David, life sucks. B, God, it's David, life sucks, and if you have some time, could you kill all of my enemies? And C, God, it's David, you're pretty awesome, and you'd be even more awesome if you killed all my enemies. In this psalm, Psalm 29, David sings the praises of God, telling us why God is magnificent. And particularly he uses language of describing God's power over nature. And I could go into a sermon on how God is awesome and God, makes all the beauty of the world. But I wanted to offer a different type of sermon and a different perspective from this psalm. As much as this passage lends itself to talking about God's glory and power, with language like the voice of the Lord is powerful, the voice of the Lord is majestic, the voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. And the cedars were just sort of revered trees in Lebanon that were really big and really strong. They used them for everything in production. And you cannot imagine that anything could knock them over, but God can. As much as these things were written about in the Psalms, and God does do those displays of might, I felt a different word for you and for me as I was preparing this. I want us to read the Psalms differently. We won't reflect on God in this passage, but rather how easily we find substitutes for God. How easily we let those substitutes grab our attention, and how those substitutes demand our attention. I want to ask, what in our lives, what in your life, do you treat with the same level of reverence? What do you treat with the same level of adulation? What do we believe has the same kind of strength, the same kind of immensity, that thundering voice that you could compare with God? What in our lives do we worship in that way? What in your life would you write a psalm